That's how it started. 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. And after
So before this, were you working anywhere else?
just open mic. And the way open mic worked is you get paid when there's profit.
Ah.
Yeah, it wasn't a money making business.
Okay.
Yeah, because the money that we made for the shows, we charged 5,000 for the shows. Money we made for the shows, run the company, paid for the venue, small things like that. So it was about making the dream work.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't make
And
real
you were still
money.
at home?
I was still at home.
And how
I
was your
didn't
mom with this?
me being at home or me
'Cause
adjusting. That's
yeah.
the word.
Did you sit down and have the conversation about not graduating?
Yeah, after
Or
like
that was
2
the
years.
plan of like, I'm going to.
It was I'm going to until I actually gave up.
Okay.
Then we had that conversation because she wasn't going to let it go. She kept asking. Like she kept asking for a long time and I was like, I'm trying, I'm trying. I know it doesn't look like I'm trying, but I'm trying. So yeah, and I got a job and
Okay.
I was getting paid and she was happy about that and she was proud. Which was I think comforting to her. Because I think what most parents want is, God, just let my child be okay. I felt that.
Because they worry. That's just
I felt that. I think it was a bit comforting
part of the
to
package.
her. Yeah, but I think mostly she also just wanted me to get my degree as well. But the fact that I had a job and I was getting paid, like, okay, like that's a start. Like, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about TV?
TV happened by mistake. Yeah.
Okay.
What happened is Pastor Sempa didn't show up for his show one time. Yeah, he had a show on Urban TV called Straight Up, which is the show that I ended up hosting for 2 years. He didn't show up for his show one time, right?
Okay.
I think he had problems with the law. I don't even know what was happening. Bush baby comes to me and he's like, so I watched you as a guest on Bazania's show and I think you're okay. Now we have a bit of a problem. Pastor Sempa is not coming in today.
Okay.
Do you think you can sit in for him just real quick? At least it was Wednesday actually. Like just until the end of the week until we figure out where he is.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm up for it. I had no idea.
Had
what
you
I was
watched the
doing.
show? Did you know anything about it?
I love it. So meanwhile, I have to host the exit from 2 p.m. Sorry, I have to host the top 10 countdown, host the exit from 3 to 7. Then at 7, go do TV. So yeah, Pastor Sempa never came back. It became my show. I did what I wanted with it. And for maybe between 2015 and end of 2016, I was doing 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. every single day of just yap. It was really just yap because there's days when our guests wouldn't show up. You've seen that happen. Yeah. Sometimes you guest foxes and you're hosting this show by yourself. So it's a situation of how are we going to do this entire hour? So
That's
I'd
where you
actually
get creative.
Crystal, I'd sit there and yap.
You wouldn't call people in?
No, like there'd
Just
be
look
like
for random people?
yo, I would try, but there'd be days where random people are not available.
At that time, yeah.
So I would sit there and yap. And the producers would be like, but that chick can yap. In my head, I'm like, be grateful. We were in a fix. So they'd be like, that chick can yap. So yeah, that's how I ended up doing TV. Thankfully, a friend of mine wanted to be on TV, so I snuck her onto my show. In Tricks, by the way. She just became the guest that never left. I swear down, it was that crazy. She became the guest that never left.
You too can get Chocha.
Top up every Monday and get 10 times bonus data bundle with Chocha Monday. Log on to www.smile.co.ug or visit any Smile outlet and top up now.
Smile. Now you can.
I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I love having my friends work with me. Does that make sense? Especially if I know they're good at what they do.
Okay.
I love having my friends work with me. Even now, you know, on the digital platform, trying to, you know, set up our YouTube channel
Yes,
and
the three
all
of
that.
you.
The three of us. And you should see me with all my other friends who want to do content. I'm like, when are you opening your YouTube channel? Get on YouTube, get on YouTube. I'm just out here putting random pressure on people, and yet ours is still growing. I like to be in a space with other people, because what's the point of being in a space when you're the only one in it, you know? I don't think it means
It's very
anything.
satisfying to see the people you care about grow.
Exactly, grow with you. And also, and this is one thing that I say even to people, because I try to talk to people who are trying to get into radio and try to encourage them or give them guidance. People make it seem like, oh my God, radio, it can never happen. But as much as I had bumps in the road, I think I had it very easy.
Okay.
I think I had it very, very easy.
Yeah.
And I know more people
I
can
mean,
have
there are
it
people
easy.
who try 1, 2, 3 years. They keep looking, finding a
decade.
space until they finally get something.
I met someone, when I was trying to get on radio, I met someone who was trying to get a show for 7 years.
Wow,
7 years.
it's a long time.
Like, I was like, and you're still here? You know? So I want, like, even when I'm trying to encourage people, I'm like, never be ashamed or never be shy to bring your friends on board, or, you know, people who are interested on board, because either they'll sharpen you to get better, or they'll take your job because you're not doing your job right anyway. And either way, I think that's just how it's supposed to be. If there's people who are doing a job, if I got fired because there's a new cooler kid, like, who's doing Maritza better than Maritza has ever, I won't be mad. I'll know, like, hey, my time is over. Is it? Let's move
On to the next
on
one.
to the next. You know what I mean? And I think having more people in a space where you work, or in a space where you're trying to grow, it helps you grow too. How will you know, like, what you're messing up if there's no one else to, you know, maybe compare to? Although I don't like comparing myself to other people, but like, you can't be by yourself in an industry. Like, you can't be by yourself in a space.
You earlier on, you were saying you're very open-minded, and that's
Yeah.
so important, because you never stop learning, and
Yeah.
you learn from everybody around you. It doesn't matter if it's a technician, it doesn't matter if it's someone who makes tea.
Yeah.
You have something to learn from every single person who comes into your life.
I'm out here editing videos. Who would have thought?
There you go.
Who would have thought? That's never something that actually even, like, I was tech aloof for the most part of my life. But now I set up mics and cameras, and it's like, huh, cool. You know what I mean? So that's one of the main reasons I did that. And even just being in a space with young people, and, you know, we're all trying to make it. And literally, we came up in a space where we just had people to look up to, you know? Most of the people in the industry who were doing great were just people to look up to. There was very few of us on, like, the same level, figuring things out. And even it's a bit harder because the audience that we try to reach, like urban, uptown Kampala, me with my Oba accent, which is Oba from where, people still trying to figure out. It's a very small market. And even, it was just like, I needed more people, you know? I felt
you
so
could
lonely.
relate to.
Yeah, I needed more people. I was working with a legend. I was working with KK. You know what I mean? I learned so much from KK. KK taught me how to do radio. He taught me how to work with people, do interviews. He basically taught me radio. So I was here with all this knowledge, but no one in the same space to learn with. Because the other person who was maybe in my age group, Cynthia, she would do the night show. So our paths rarely crossed.
Okay.
So I liked that I had that. I liked that I had, you know, urban TV, because there was a bit more fresher and young people in urban TV also figuring TV out. Because let me tell you something, I did not know what I was doing. I had no idea. But, like, you know, you learn, you grow, they show you the ropes, you pick this up, you drop that, you know, so.
And you left urban after 2 years.
Yes, I didn't leave, I was fired.
For something you did, or?
Something I didn't do.
Okay.
For something I didn't do. The situation was they were trying to, you know, reduce the numbers, cut budgets and all that. So they fired somebody, and I was on leave. They fired somebody while I was on leave, somebody who used to do the show with me while I was on leave. And they asked me to come out of leave to make up for the fact that they'd fired this person. I'm like, that's not how leave works.
Yeah.
I am entitled to my days.
You've made plans.
I made plans, and I think that's also the mentality of people in media, from voice artists to whatever. They expect when they call you, just show up.
Yeah.
We are doing you a favor. That's the attitude, right? So I'm like, okay, but you knew. I sent an email. Everybody knew I was on leave. You can't ask me to get out of leave because of a bad decision that you made, right? So I was like, no. And I know my rights. I went to law school, honey. I said no. So they got, another friend of mine who was so happy she got the job, Anisha.
Yes, yes.
So they called Anisha to come in and sit in for us. So I come back from leave. Of course, I knew they weren't going to let me back in because I knew they were salty. I went back to the show like nothing had happened. So I was doing the show with Anisha, right? And then my producer, I think people are scared of me because the announcement to take me off the show, the email went out maybe 2 weeks before they actually got me off the show. Yeah. Because I was hosting this show. Thanks. This is
So
what
you heard about it?
Oh, I heard about it because someone left their email open, and then another friend of mine saw the email like, oh my God, you're on the list of people who've been fired. They requested to terminate your contract. I was like, is that true? Maybe not. No one sent me an email. So you know what? I'm just going to keep on working. So I kept on working. But then the truth of the matter is I was fired. And I knew what I was doing. But until I got official communication, I kept working. I kept working and
Kept showing up.
I kept showing up, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, so we're going to let one person host the show. We don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
So keep it moving." So I was like, "Okay, cool." I kept it moving.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
which was fine because at the end of the day, they hired one of my friends.
Let me tell you, I love that you're saying this. I love the positive energy you're bringing. But the reality is, there are a lot of people who'd be like,
That's true,
well,
but
it's
then
sad. It's sad, but
yeah, I have 5 hours on radio every single day, and then a weekend show Saturday morning. Mundeke. Just leave
You're
me.
okay with it?
I'm fine. Just leave me. And you know what? I think to be honest, maybe my time on TV was also done for that time period.
okay.
Yeah, because I'd gotten to a point where I was winging it. You ever get to a comfort point where you're just like, oh, okay, I have a show later tonight. Cool. And it's not until like maybe showtime that you're like, oh yeah, cool, prep, send.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I had gotten pretty comfortable, which is not good. And once I'm comfortable somewhere, eject, remove, abort mission. Like, I didn't like that. So I guess it was God's way of saying, your time is done here.
Okay.
Let's
Shake
find
things
you-
up a bit.
Shake things up. Let's find you something else.
Okay.
So that was great.
At the time, you were still doing the drive show with.
I was still doing the drive show. I was still employed at Vision Group, so it was fine. It was fine. And to be honest, if they'd offered me anything else, I would have been obliged to take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you want to go back into TV one day? I mean, you're doing YouTube, which is kind of.
Which is kind of like TV. To be honest, maybe because TV is not really my first love. I really like radio.
Okay.
I like stage. I like YouTube. TV, I could because I can. Does that make sense? I could because I can. And if I have more creative control, which is what I had at Urban, I produced my own show most of the time. I just liaise. Is it called liaising? Yeah, I just liaised with the producer, but majority of the content was my content. So
Okay.
yeah, I could.
Okay.
Only because I can, not because, oh my God, TV is my love, and that's not
But
true.
now
That's
you're
a
on
lie.
XAM. You're on the breakfast show.
Yes, I am.
How did that happen? When did that happen?
When so I had a dream. I just not even I had a dream. The way I work, when I stay in a place long enough, I assume I've gotten what I'm supposed to get from that place. So I had done 4 years on the exit. I was satisfied. I was happy. My time was up.
Okay.
That's just how I felt. I felt
Okay.
like my time on the drive show or even at XFM was up. So when my contract ended, I actually sent an email before the contract ended. I was like, I don't wish to renew my contract.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm such a wild card. You're so dumb sometimes. Yeah. So I don't
So you had
wish-
time, you thought about this?
Yeah,
and you were
say
like,
I don't wish to renew my contract. I'm going to go. I'm leaving.
You didn't feel inspired? What was it?
It wasn't about not feeling inspired. It was about growth. I was looking for growth. I
Okay.
felt like you have grown so much, but now stagnant. What else are you going to like? What else are you going to learn? My first radio show was a drive time show. People start small and work up to that. So I felt like I needed maybe a bigger challenge, a bigger audience, and all that. So a brilliant idea popped up in my head called Nairobi. And I tried. I actually tried, and I packed my bags and I moved to Nairobi.
Okay.
And what happened was Nairobi was funny. It was more I think educational than it was anything else. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So what happened is I applied to Capital. Capital has this thing. Capital FM Nairobi has this thing where they take applications for a show called Hits Not Homework. Very popular show.
Yes.
Yeah, like so popular. So it's a big deal when you get Hits Not Homework. And I think they've been doing this for maybe 5 years or something. I apply to go to Capital FM. I get so many likes. I share, you know, UG supported me. My Kampalans were like, go Mama Kla, go to Nairobi. Ati, Mama Kla in Nairobi, what was that even about? So anyway, so people really supported me. They came through. It was so humbling. And
So it was a competition?
It was a
where
competition.
people- yeah, okay.
And I made it to the final round, which I actually didn't think was going to happen.
All right.
Because the pool was so huge. So I made it to the final round. I didn't move to Nairobi because of that job. I moved to Nairobi because I wanted to move to Nairobi anyway.
Okay.
And
Did you have family there? Or?
no, I was just going to go and wing it.
What do you mean?
Well, I had a few contacts.
Yes, you
Yeah.
must have had.
Of course, I
some.
had a couple of contacts. I actually had a couple of contacts.
Okay.
And what I wanted to do was just go and explore, see what I can do, or even start small. I was looking for an experience. Like to be honest, I felt like I had it really easy. And I wanted something challenging. I wanted something that's going to shock me and help me grow and show me something. You know what I mean? Show me something. Hey, I got something. Not what I wanted, but I got something. So I moved to Nairobi. I don't get the capital job.
Yes.
What
But
actually
you
happened?
made it to the final round.
I made it to the final round. What happened is they ended up hiring one of the judges. Thanks. I was like, what are you guys doing? So imagine this. A radio station decides to have 4 presenters, a DJ, and on a 2-hour music show that's also supposed to have a guest.
Oh, that's a mess.
Right? So their PR cover-up was like, oh no, we hired her along with 3 other members of the competition. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. It's okay. A then friend of mine actually says, come stay with me. My son's in Kampala. I'm in the house by myself. It's a big apartment. Just come stay with me. Nairobi's hard. Save your money. You know, I got you.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. You don't live in someone's home for free.
Yeah,
Who are
yeah.
you, right? So in my perspective, I'm like, you know what? I'll come stay over, but you know, I'll do chores. What do you need? I'll do your house chores. You know, because I'm like, hey, I'm saving my money. Good. My plan was to do house chores. You know, contribute where I can with food. Soon as I get a job, great. I had set a plan. Soon as I get a job, even pay some rent. You know what I mean? Like clear at least a month of rent or something. Like do something, because this was overwhelming. Like, how dare you? Huh? How could you be so nice? So that was my plan. I'm like, I'm so grateful. Thank you. You know, she comes, picks me up from the bus. But long story short, she decided to take my money before I could even use it for anything. She robbed me. Yeah. My host, who was supposed to be the person to, you know, help me through Nairobi, I was looking for a place to rent. I didn't have to stay at her place. She's like, no, save your money, save your money. So she robbed me. So I spent about maybe a month or a month and a half, I'm not too sure, in Nairobi, just in the house. I couldn't move. The most I could do was walk up to, there's a mall called The Junction. Oh, that hill was crazy. But like walk up to the junction, meet a few people. I couldn't even transport myself.
I'm still trying to understand what you mean by robbed you. Like went into your room, went into your
No.
What do you mean?
What happened was, when I was coming to Nairobi, I was advised to take my money out of my Stanchart account here and register an account in Stanchart there. So the day I arrived in Nairobi, I actually had a friend. I arrived on Saturday. My friend works in Stanchart, and he was ready to help me open an account. He was waiting for me. He's like, as soon as you touch down, come through, we open your account, we deposit your money, we keep it moving. So I was going to move with all my cash via bus. Right? Which was dumb.
Yeah.
Very dumb. I tried to open an M-Pesa account because all that happened last minute. It happened like in the final week because me in my mind I was like, go to Nairobi, withdraw my money as I please. But like, no, visa charges are expensive, you shouldn't do that. That's not advice. If you're trying to save some money, withdraw your money, open an account. Exactly. So I withdraw all my money. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be really dumb to move with this on the bus. So she's like, oh, by the way, about your plan with, opening the account, it's not a smart idea to move with that money on the bus.
Yes.
So I'm like, you're right. So literally, Friday 5 p.m. I was in Nairobi by 2 p.m. the next day because I took a bus. Friday 5 p.m. I call her. I'm like, you know what? Actually, she suggests it. So I'm like, no, never mind. And then I call her back. I'm like, you know what? Let me M-Pesa you this money because the charges to M-Pesa you the money are cheaper than any. Like, they were very cheap. Like, let me M-Pesa you the money. I spent a bit, but it wasn't as much as I was going to spend, right? Like, let me M-Pesa you all my cash. As soon as I get there, we withdraw it, go straight to the bank, deposit it, and then you can take me home. I've never seen that money to this day.
So was that her version of
Rent.
Rent.
That was great.
Wow.
Like, so yeah, I never saw it again. So when I get there, she's like, oh, let's first get home, relax, blah, blah. I'm like, no, we need to go to the bank. This dude's waiting. So I'd even bought my line already. So I'm telling them, like, yeah, she's coming to pick me up, and then we'll come pass by the bank. Not a pups. What money? So we get home, and because I'm a very polite person, she gave me a whole story, and I was like, you know what? As long as I'm in the house, we'll just figure it out. If I need to go somewhere, you'll help me out with some money. If we need food, you'll help me out with some money. That was my perspective.
Did she help you out?
With food, yes, because she needed to eat too. But like actual transport, there's even a time she had the audacity to ask me for money. Yo, so so that happened, and I never saw that money again. And when I was sending it, I did know what I was doing. I was like, this money might not come back to you. But a thought crossed my mind, is like, if it doesn't come back to me, consider it 2 months rent paid. Just figure it out in Nairobi. Consider it 2 months rent paid.
Now I get why you were saying you wanted life to show you.
Now, the only problem with that is when you can't move around to look for a job in Nairobi, why are you there?
Yeah.
What are you doing there? You know what I mean? So after a month of living there, and like her clothes started to show. Like she's not a nice person. She really isn't. And we've been friends for a long time, almost maybe 8 years. We're friends for a very long time. So her clothes started to show, and I'm smarter than that. For me, it's just money.
Okay, so you just decided to come back.
Yeah.
You threw in the towel.
I didn't throw in the towel. I said, let me go home and figure things out. So when I came home to figure things out, XFM calls me back.
Okay. What about now?
I am in a relationship. And I think one of the things I've appreciated the most about this relationship is growth, right? You grow together.
Okay, so you've been together a while then.
He's been in the picture, but it's a growth thing. And I think the fact that I've allowed myself to mature, genuine love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you early on also said something, and not that everyone has to follow a script of how things are done.
Yeah.
But you did say you also don't see marriage really being a thing for you.
It's because I don't understand it.
Okay.
I don't understand it. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh my God, it's unrealistic to spend the rest of your life with one person. No. You make a decision, you're an adult. You make a decision, this is the person that I've chosen to give my life to, give my heart to, for as long as, I will. But with marriage, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I don't understand it.
That's a very honest answer.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand the concept of marriage. I don't understand a marriage without God. If you're going to be married, God better be the center of that marriage. You know what I mean? And you better be living by the Bible. Things like, so for me, for me, like most things in my life that I choose not to spend so much time on or even, commit myself to, it's, do I know what I'm doing? Right? I don't want to be, it's different with kids. You have to figure it out along the way. There's so many things you can't expect. But with marriage, at least know the initial commitment. Understand the initial commitment. I want to wake up every morning and commit myself to you.
Okay.
With marriage, maybe that's not the case, but my perspective of marriage is, now we are stuck. Now what do we do? That's my perception of marriage. And I think weddings are beautiful. Great. Weddings are so beautiful. But the more I have conversations with married people, and I know other people's marriages don't have to be my marriage, but the more I realize no one understands what marriage is. I don't understand what marriage is. So what am I doing exactly?
Well,
yeah. That's just it.
you're right. A lot of people have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, so what am I doing exactly? And you can never be fully prepared for anything in life, but at least prepare for the unpreparedness. Yeah, be open-minded to the point of, okay, I'm going to be in this situation, and come what may, this is the situation. I am really not there yet.
Okay.
Nope. So it's a situation of going with the flow, and I like being able to wake up every morning and commit to this person. You know what I mean? That's a feeling I've never had in my life. That's a feeling I want to have forever. That's a feeling I wish upon everyone, even my frenemies. We all need love.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
This is such a long chat, though.
I know it was, huh?
Are we going to do part 1 to 4?